Boys, we're back with more NFL news. I've been waiting to scratch this itch, but we're back. I hope you guys do enjoy the video. If you do, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. It's been a little while, huh? But we have some more news coming out. We have Geno Smith extending or having his contract actually signed with the Raiders now. 2 years, $85 million, 66 guaranteed. And to be honest, this is a fantastic move for Geno Smith and for the Raiders themselves. It's cheap. He's a decent quarterback. I don't want to say he has accuracy problems, but he's a winner. He's been in the league long enough, and you're getting a good price tag for a veteran quarterback. You're not paying him too much. He's with you for 2 years. You can kind of get that trial era of, hey, we're gonna try Geno Smith, and Pete Carroll kind of understands what to do with a quarterback that's not so top tier. He obviously got it done with Russell Wilson. He now has Geno Smith. And, Pete Carroll's one of those guys that will develop your quarterback no matter what stage you are in your career. I think he's a veteran in the game. He's been there long enough to know what it's about, what you need to do to get it done. But it's a good price tag. It's fair for the Raiders. That's what you want, right? A good quarterback that you're not paying $60 million a year to not win anything like the Cowboys are. So the Raiders are not putting themselves in a deficit. They're getting rid of players. They're adding players in. And, they're headed in the right trajectory. They're headed where they want to be headed to win, to play winning football, meaningful football. So it's a good move. I don't love Geno. I hope Geno doesn't go back to the Jets Geno. I hope he stays the Seahawks Geno, where he has, explosive plays, and he kind of gets it done no matter what you ask of him, right? So unfortunate for me as a fan of football, because like I said, I'm not a huge Raiders fan. My family members are. I'm not. I don't love watching them play. I think they're kind of all over the place, but I'm excited to see what Pete Carroll has to say about all that and what he kind of shifts the team and dynamic of the team to be. So who knows? But it's good. It's good, man. The Raiders got a deal for him. That's super cool. So next up is an interesting one. The Cardinals agreed to terms with tight end Trey McBride, $76 million extension. This one's crazy because he's not a rookie, right? I think he's second year pro. He had 2 phenomenal seasons. He's a pivotal point in that offense. It kind of doesn't revolve around him, but he's a guy that you need to do. If he plays good, your offense is running well. So him and James Conner are up there in terms of their output in terms of the Cardinals offense. So super happy to see. Super crazy though. I feel like this was kind of out of the blue. I don't think anybody saw this coming, at least this early, right? 2 years in the league and you get a big extension. I could be wrong. Maybe it's his 3rd year, but I'm sure he's fresh. So that's a big contract. In terms of where it lines up with all the other tight ends, and he's getting paid, more than anybody else. So highest paid tight ends per year in average. Travis Kelce, $17.1 million. Obviously, Travis Kelce's kind of different because the Chiefs are looking to pay their star players close to max, not at max. That way they're able to sign other people. You saw Mahomes reconstruct his deal. That way they can bring other people in to play. Obviously, to win, you need to kind of take a pay cut sometimes. So that's where the Chiefs are. TJ Hawkinson, he's obviously had his issues with his knee after that one dirty tackle from Kirby Joseph, I think. So that's a fair price tag for him. George Kittle, a veteran, a phenomenal tight end. It's a fair price tag for him as well. Dallas Goedert, he's a winner. Mark Andrews, enough said. I know he had his downs last year, but it comes with age, right? So I think that this is crazy out of the blue. Like I said, he's $43 million guaranteed. So out of the blue, sure, inflation has to do with some of it, right? Some of the aspects in pro sports are the contracts fluctuate with what the current market is, and sometimes people overpay for quarterbacks, and sometimes people overpay for tight ends and guards and tackles. So the market's inflated. So a deal that's done in 2010 is not going to be the same deal that's done in 2025, right? So take that as you may. I still think it's a lot of money for the kid. He's a good player, but like I said, time will tell. Staying on the Cardinals train, we have Calais Campbell signing a deal, expected to sign a deal. I think he did sign the deal today with the Cardinals, which is an interesting one. I don't know what the Cardinals' plans are. They obviously, like I said, you just saw, they signed Trey McBride to an extension. They signed a veteran like Calais Campbell. The Cardinals are kind of everywhere. I don't know what their plan is. I think they had kind of not a rebuild this season this year or last year, but it's another one of those teams where they're kind of at that mid level, but they're super close to kind of getting it to the next tier. They're kind of sitting at C tier. They're trying to bump their way up to B, and they could be an 8-level team if they're firing on all cylinders. So that's an interesting one. I'm not keeping up too much on them. I know that last year they had they drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. He didn't have the year everybody wanted him to, which was kind of disappointing. But the Cardinals they're trying something new, so getting a veteran is never bad. So that's good on him. We have some interesting news out of the Jets camp, though. We have Aaron Glenn he wants to shift the right backs. So I guess he's open to trading Breece Hall if they do draft a Sean Jonty, if that does fall to them. Which is interesting because Breece Hall obviously tore his ACL his first year or his second year, one of the years. And he's an explosive running back. He hurt his ACL. He still was that guy after that ACL tear, which was nice to see. But moving on from him, especially him being such a focus point on their offense as well, it's tough, man. I know that Breece Hall kind of got Zach Wilson out of situations. They kind of made up plays for him. They kind of became that option, like, hey, if there's nothing there, go to Breece because Breece will make something happen. And, Aaron Glenn, obviously coming out of the Detroit Lions, he was a defensive coordinator there, now a head coach of the Jets. He knows how important the run game is. Obviously, they had Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, so he knows how important it is to have a running back, right? So this is an interesting one. I know that they have Justin Fields now, so maybe that could be another option. But Sean Jonty, I understand that you can't pass that up, and Breece Hall is not going to play backup to Sean Jonty. So interesting one. Where if Breece Hall does leave, where does he go? I mean, LA and the Chargers, right? They have a need for a running back. Maybe he could go there, play some meaningful football under the Harbaugh. So who knows? And then Breece Hall kind of saw that and said, what does that mean for me, bruh? What's that mean? So obviously sometimes in NFL, the business aspect kind of becomes a weird situation because people or players don't necessarily follow everything. They're not in the mix of things because it is their off season technically. They are still working now, keeping in shape obviously, but the behind the scenes stuff, most of the time they don't get told what's going on. They don't get told what the plans are for the team, what direction they're heading, if they're in, if they're out. Obviously, you're Breece Hall, you're chilling at your house. It's a Sunday afternoon, and you see news on the phone. You're like, what the heck? I don't know nothing about this. So, I mean, I don't see him getting traded. But if Sean Jonty does fall, I mean, obviously, right, they're going to trade him because he's not going to play backup to a rookie. So there's that, and then we have Julio Jones officially announcing his retirement from football. I think he took the year off last year, if I'm not mistaken. The year before that, he was with the Eagles for a little bit. Then he was with the Bucks, and he was with the Titans, and he had a couple, bounce around after the Falcons. So a legend retires from the game. I mean, he had no rings. He was super close on that 28-3 comeback on the Patriots, where they kind of did that on them. So phenomenal player. A lot of players, a lot of wide receivers come out and they say, oh, my idol is Julio Jones. Which is tough, man. Watching all these players that you grow up watching and then they retire and they don't win the ultimate goal. They don't have a ring on their finger. It sucks, but those players are good for the game. They're good for little kids coming up. High school players coming up, college players coming up. Not everybody can be Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or the modern day players of the world. So they have guys like Julio Jones, which were absolute monsters to watch back then. So it's different. It's unfortunate. Like I said, it sucks to see players that you enjoy watching retire from the game. Makes you feel a little bit old, but he had a long career. He had a good career. A lot of highlights in there. Everybody knows the name Julio Jones, so can't be too mad at his legacy. But other than that, that is it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.